Hey there, all you single ladies out there. So, what I want to do tonight is I want to talk with you about what to do when you're anxious about first dates. And I want to give you a couple tips that will help you. So, first dates or even first conversations can really be kind of nerve wracking, especially if you're shy or if you've had some relationships that haven't worked out and those relationships that went bad have created some sort of anxiety in you about dating. Or if you feel like you don't know how to date, or if you're anxious about a date working out, like you have one planned, you're supposed to meet up with a guy, and you're anxious about it going badly. Like, what do you do or how do you handle it? It can be really kind of hard if you've had a string of disappointments when it comes to dating and you just feel like you're on the edge of just like giving up. So I'm hoping that these things that I'll share with you will be very, very helpful. So, first dates can also be kind of frustrating if they go poorly. I mean, after all, if you are like most of the women that I coach and that I talk with, you want to meet that special person. You want to find a relationship with a committed, marriage minded man. And, you feel like that can be kind of challenging sometimes, but because you really want it, sometimes that can increase the anxiety that you might feel around dating. So, I want to give you a few positive actions that you can take that will help you when it comes to having anxiety about first dates or if a first date goes badly. So, the first thing that you want to do is to relieve your first date jitters, or like I said, it can be even a first conversation that you have with a guy. You want to reframe your experience. So, one of the things that we do is from the get go, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we're thinking, I'm going to go out on this first date and I'm going to know if this person is the one. Some people do this and it puts a lot of pressure. So instead of doing that, what you want to do is you want to think of this as an adventure in learning about another person and about yourself. You're there just to have a good time and maybe make a new friend. I always tell the women that I coach there are only two things that you need to know and two things that you need to answer on a first date. It's not everything from here to forever about a guy or whether or not he's right for you. The only two questions you need to answer is, did I feel emotionally and physically safe? And did I have a decent conversation? Those are the only two questions that you need to answer. And also, you're just thinking about, hey, here's a new person and I can learn about them. When you develop a perspective, a curiosity about another person, and you simplify this whole process of not putting a lot of pressure on yourself, it is going to relieve you and it's going to help you enjoy the dating experience a lot more. So then, if something doesn't turn out, it's okay. But if it does, then great. And also, if it doesn't, this guy isn't the last man on earth. So when you let go of the need to control the outcome of a date, it's going to really relieve the pressure that you might feel that you think you have to instantly know if this person is going to be the love of your life and it's going to help you relax. Also, you want to remind yourself, like I was saying, this isn't the last guy on earth. There are lots of men out there. There are other dates that can come up, and this will help take the pressure off of you. There was a woman that I was coaching some time ago, and she was telling me because she didn't want to hurt someone, like she didn't want to get too far down the line with a guy, and she was worried about hurting him and hurting someone. And this came from some things in her past. She felt like she needed to know everything that could be a potential problem, like right up front. And so what she did was is she took her checklist, like I often talk about not doing. She'd take her checklist to her date, and in her mind, as he's talking, she's checking off things to make sure that she's safe and that she's safe in this dating relationship or in this potential situation so that she doesn't end up hurting him and she doesn't end up hurting herself, right? Or maybe you're on the other side and you're thinking, well, I don't want to get hurt. And so you got your checklist out. But again, you want to remind yourself there's a whole bunch of steps in between where you are and where you could possibly be to get married or become committed to someone. So in that moment, right then, you want to stay in the moment and reframe your experience and remind yourself that this is just a conversation. And remind yourself that this isn't about instantly finding the one for you. The next thing that you can do is remind yourself that bad first dates or bad conversations, that they are learning opportunities. So even if you know fairly quickly, like from the just a little bit in, some bad things happen in the conversation on a date, and you're thinking, this guy and I, we're not going to be a good fit for each other, right? And you just know fairly quickly. Or maybe you even see some big red flags that you're thinking, I just can't ignore those. You want to think of a date as a learning opportunity. And you want to remind yourself, well, now I've got more tools in my dating toolbox than I had before. You are a wiser woman, and that is a win. So when you take this position of curiosity, it's going to help you from feeling exhausted. Because maybe when I say this, you're saying, Shanna, but I am tired of learning. Like, I have gone out on so many dates. I'm so sick of learning about myself and about the opposite sex. And yeah, that's nice what you say about having more tools in your dating toolbox, but I'm just really tired of this whole thing. All right. So if you get to that place, sometimes it's okay just to kind of step back and give yourself a break and step back from the whole process of dating and allow yourself to feel whatever disappointment it is that you feel. But you want to remember that when you're in that place and you're feeling bad, right? Maybe you just had a first date and you're feeling bad. Now is not the time to make vows about your future. I'm never dating again, or decide things about yourself like, well, I'm just a bad, pick. Nobody's ever going to want me, right? Don't make judgments about yourself or make decisions about your relationship future. Because when you are in the midst of disappointment, you're in the midst of being hurt, that is not the time when you should be making decisions about your relationship future, because you're not thinking clearly, your emotions are talking, right? And you just need to be in a place where you can think more clearly later on. So just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Maybe step back from the whole dating scene for a little bit and kind of give yourself a break. And then when you go back into it, you want to go back into it with a heart of curiosity. You want to say, these are learning opportunities for me. And when you simply do that, when you simply take the perspective of these dates, or when I'm dating, these are learning opportunities for me to learn about other people, to learn about men, to learn about dating, to learn about myself, then simply having an attitude of curiosity is going to help lift some of that pressure that you're feeling. Because now, all of a sudden, it turns dating into a research project for yourself. It's like a self-improvement thing, right? So you're just gathering data, and that will help take some of the pressure off, and you won't feel so much like, oh my gosh, I got to know what's going on, and I have to know if this person's right for me, and I can't get disappointed one more time, right? It's going to take off some of that pressure. You want to focus on what is good and what is of a good report, because you want to remember that there is not one experience that is ever wasted when you have the right perspective. I know firsthand that can be really, really difficult not to get stuck in disappointment and not to get stuck in, just feeling so sad and grieved because of prolonged singleness, because I got married at 46. It can be really, really disappointing and really kind of painful. That said, if you have had one date or a string of bad dates or horrible dates or breakups or bad romantic experiences, you do not want to shut your heart down. You do not, like I said, want to make decisions about your relationship future then. If you've had 1, 2, or 5, or 20 bad dates, it does not mean anything about your future. Let me give you an example. I was in my early 40s thinking I was never going to meet anybody. I was really, really disappointed about the whole process of dating, and I'd had my heart broken a lot of times. I was just really, really frustrated. If I had made a decision at those times or in that season in my early 40s about what my relationship future would have been, I would have been wrong, because not too long after that, I met the man who eventually became my husband. So you want to keep your heart open and just remember to reframe your dating experiences. Don't think about it as, I'm going to find out if this is the one. Don't have your little checklist out, right? Be curious about dating and relationships. And then one last thing that I just thought of, if let's say you go out on a date or you have a conversation with a guy and it doesn't go well and he's not interested in you and you're interested in him, one of the things that we start to do is we start taking that to heart and start thinking, this is about me. Like, nobody's going to want me, obviously, right? So we start thinking this is about us. But think about the last person who was interested in you that you were not interested in, would you ever tell that person that they're bad or that no one's ever going to want them? No, you would never say that to them because it's not true. The truth was is that they just weren't right for you. It's the same when the tables are turned, right? When someone's not interested in you, it's not about you. It's just that maybe you weren't a good fit for that person. So you want to remember to be good to yourself and to be kind to yourself. You never ever know, just like it was with me, with my husband, someone who is a good fit for you could be right around the corner. All right, I hope this has been encouraging to you. And also, if you haven't yet, head on over to morethanmatching.com. It's a new product by Single Over 30, and it's called More Than Matching because it's more than matching. It's not just about matching you up with somebody, it's also about coaching and group meetup events and all kinds of cool stuff. And my team and I decided to create something for you that wasn't like online dating where anybody can do it. You don't know who's serious about finding a relationship. And sometimes there's scammers online. You have to weed through all this difficult stuff online, right? And it's not expensive like matchmaking programs. It's somewhere in the middle. It's a reasonable price point and it provides coaching for you, a personal matchmaker, and all kinds of other cool stuff. So if you'd like to set up a time to talk with me about that, I would love, love, love that. Just head on over to morethanmatching.com and click on one of the buttons there on the homepage and set up a time to talk with me, and I'll personally share with you about the program. Someone reached out to me lately or recently and said, yeah, I heard about the program, but I heard it's $5,000 and I can't afford that. No, it's not anywhere close to that. All right, it is very reasonable, and we decided to create something that had a whole lot of value in it. I just talked to a guy tonight who signed up, and he said, I'm ready. I have my credit card out. I know a good deal when I see it. All right, so I hope this has been helpful to you. Again, head on over to morethanmatching.com. I hope that you'll become a member and that I'll be able to talk with you soon. All right, see ya. Have a good night. Bye-bye.